Hello my dear Scorpio, this is your love and spirituality reading for the time between December 1st and December 15, 2017 with me, Queen of Cups Tarot. So, I used the Modern Spellcasters Tarot by Melanie Marquise and illustrated by Scott Murphy, and I will start shuffling your cards. So, I opened the deck here for you Scorpio, and I see the Knight of Wands and Six of Pentacles. So it might come in like an energy that wants to try to compromise with you or try to work together with you in a balanced way. It might be a fire sign like Sagittarius, Leo or Aries. This is usually Sagittarius, with a rather young and temperamental energy that wants to cooperate, wants to try to make amends in some way, have like a better way of cooperating. So I call the divine with love and light. And someone might be very suspicious of this person coming and wanting to cooperate. So if you're dealing with a person that you want to make up with, know that they are going to probably say no to you in the beginning, and that you need to kind of prove yourself, or it's like that someone needs to prove themselves to you before you let them in and let this beautiful work continue. And I call the four archangels in the four corners of the world, and I call the six elements: earth, wind, fire, water, spirits and ether to join us here today and to give us a clear view reading for my dear Scorpio viewers. So I want my dear Scorpios to have love in their lives and to find themselves in loving relationships. I also want you to have creative success and to be able to walk on your highest path towards your highest destiny. So we saw with the cards that I shuffled that there's a situation that there needs to be clear communication. You need to tell the other person. You can't just shy away from them or keep them on an arm's length distance. It's very good if you try to communicate, and it doesn't have to be. It can be in any kind of situation that you're in, that you need to communicate very clear that you want to compromise or you want to work together, but you also draw a line in the sand for how other people can behave towards you. So communicate really well. Okay. I also want to take the chance to tell you that Venus is moving from Scorpio to Sagittarius December 2nd. Mars is moving from Libra to Scorpio December 9. And Mercury is on the cusp Sagittarius Capricorn in the start of the month and stations December 3. And then it starts to move retrograde and back into Sagittarius until it stations again 23rd of December. So we will actually have a Mercury retrograde around Christmas time or before Christmas time. So it might be like messing around with your communication, and Mercury is the magician that we saw. It might mess around with your communication with other people, and also how you're communing, like the communing, airplane travel, communication of different sorts. Here we have Justice. We also saw the Page of Swords when I shuffled, and this Nine of Wands. So it's like a person is not going to like stop defending themselves until they see that there is justice. So I'm thinking about the family gatherings that might happen during Christmas, and that I think that a person that has felt very unjustly treated is no longer going to behave accordingly to social rules and convention. They are more focused on to protecting themselves to not get hurt anymore. This is both good and bad. It's good in the way that a person stands up and respects themselves. It is bad because when we become this protective, we can sometimes also hurt others. So try to have it with moderation. Don't be like overly rude. If you like, don't point out things with other people. Try to be, I feel, I want, I need. Not so much that person they are so stupid, they do this wrong. Don't go like with the personalities. Try to explain yourself instead, so people will get to know you better. What it is that you as a person needs. Yes, Jupiter is moving direct in Scorpio, so that's good news for you, Scorpio, that you have Jupiter in your sign. It's going to, going to help the whole world with with becoming more expressive of their emotions, what they really feel. Saturn is in late degrees of Sagittarius and are moving direct. Pluto is moving direct in Capricorn, and Uranus is moving retrograde in Aries. The Sun went into Sagittarius the 22nd of November and will move into Capricorn the 22nd of December. And we will have a super full moon in Gemini, December 3. New moon will be on the cusp Sagittarius and Capricorn, December 18. Midwinter solstice will happen December 21st, 1628 UTC time. The midwinter solstice is the real reason to why we celebrate Christmas. So it's a good day to celebrate Christmas on, the 21st. In Sweden it's called Jul, which means wheel. The spring equinox is Easter. The midsummer solstice is also lively celebrated in Sweden with a midsummer pole, a very ancient tradition to fertilize the lands. And then we celebrate Halloween, or in Sweden, the Night of All Saints, to replace the fall equinox that actually takes place in September. Why I'm telling you this is because it's all a part of a very ancient calendar, which also astrological science is a part of. A turn with the wheel through all the astrological signs is called the Great Year. The length of one cycle of the 12 ages is 25,860 years. So we stay approximately 2,155 years in every sign. We went into the age of Pisces 68 BC and we will go into the age of Aquarius 2087 AD approximately. It is the stars in the background of the spring equinox that determine in what age we are in. So it's very interesting how our ancestors could have like track of this very great calendar with almost 26,000 years, okay, going through all these cycles. So who calculated this? Who found out this? Who did all this? And they must have had like a beautiful knowledge of the stars and the movement and like all the equinoxes and like everything that's going on around in our solar system, and what's going on around like the earth, the background towards the universe. So it's amazing. We really should give them more credit and really try to find out who they were and what they were calculating, like what was the meaning of it all. But I think we are on a good we are getting to know more and more as we go out from, we have been in the dark ages, Kali Yuga, and we will go out and come maybe in 10,000 years or so we will be in the golden age, 12,000 years. But right now we are, at least the veil is lifting. We are starting to get back old knowledge. So it's very interesting ages that we are in. My dear Scorpio, just tune into your reading. Or the continuation of your reading, since I'm reading a lot while I shuffle as well. So, my dear Scorpio, this is your future. And this is your now, and this is the past. So the past will be October, November this year, and this is the now, and it's the first half of December 2017. I want to show you this also for the background. It's the Six of Swords that we also saw when I shuffled the cards. You had also the Six of Pentacles. So it's talking, it wants to make like sorry, I'm a little bit cold. It wants to make order in the areas of your mind and communication, but also with the Six of Pentacles, it's in your everyday life. Like make more harmony, probably through truth, and to see to that there's balance. Don't give more. Try to be more balanced, so you don't over give or not give too little. Try to make balance in your relationship, and also talk the truth. She's holding a box. It's like she's holding the treasure of her inner vulnerability. And we have the Hermit here. And they are all like getting to know each other better, or themselves better. It's a better word. Like getting to know your own vulnerability, your own inner femininity, and your own inner depths. and then being able to communicate this also, like, this is who I am, this is what I feel, this is what I want, this is what I like, this is what I don't like. And here we have the first half of December, and very suitable. We have the star card here. So the star card is Aquarius, so it's the age I was talking about that we are going into eventually, 60 years from now, 70 years from now. And the star card, it's about working together with the divine and with other people to create something wonderful and to heal and expand our consciousness. And here we can see one person being very quickly down to the water, and the other one are more slow because they want to experience the beautiful, like, Leela, this game of life. So don't be so judgmental towards people that's a little bit more slow to grasp what you, Scorpio, already know. So it's about patience and healing and trying to heal things after the tower. This is 17, the tower is 16. Building new foundations. It's like it has this beautiful future breath. It's like I'm feeling this breath of a new age, a new era, a new way for you to deal with the people around you in more truth and honor, and more explaining for them who you are, so they will know why you are reacting in different way, instead of just, you know, closing the book and turning your shoulder. You say, I'm feeling very vulnerable and I'm feeling unjustly treated right now. So, and if the person doesn't you know, help you with that, then maybe you can shy away. Here we have the Four of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles is like a person that don't want to share their things. They are building protection walls around themselves, and it's Pentacles, so it's very stable. It's like the piggy house that was made of brick. So I'm thinking that you are working on your boundaries. It doesn't have to be all negative. But also respect other people's boundaries, and respect the boundaries of your own, and try to not be... this is like someone hiding the beautiful little box here inside like a cellar or something. And you shouldn't watch on your treasure so much. Show your treasure to other people, but still be like prepared to protect yourself. The star card, when you have connection with the stars, with the divine, with your true self, 17, 1 plus 7 is 8. So it's talking about you becoming more strong when you are connected with your own instincts, because then you are also connected to the divine. Okay. So, first card for you, Scorpio, is Two of Cups. So Two of Cups together with the Six of Swords that we have underneath there is talking about truth and honor and love in your relationship, showing your vulnerability, showing other people that means something to you, who you really are, what you can accept, what you can't accept. So you can emerge with them more. Like when you show your vulnerability, it's like giving them a treasure. And when they treasure that, they are allowed to be with you. If they don't treasure that, they are not allowed to be with you. So Two of Cups is a beautiful card about relationships that try to be like where you try to find intimacy and connection. And here we have a Two of Wands. So Two of Wands is talking about not losing yourself in those connections. You still need to have your boundaries and be able to say no. You are not like, just because you are doing everything to become loved, it doesn't mean that you will become more loved. People usually love you for the person that you are, and the more respect you show yourself with putting a little bit boundaries here and there, accordingly with the communication that you have with your divine and your own gut feeling, will make you also more respected towards other people. To give everything away and just you know, just try to keep your head down and try to be nice and play nice, it's not going to make you respect and not even loved. So you just need to remember that, to sometimes, you know, hold your horses, show a little bit of dignity, so you will be able to protect this this inner treasure of yours, and not just let it be scattered for the wolves. Okay, and here we have Eight of Wands. So Eight of Wands is communication, it's clarification, making away from misunderstandings, like talking very truthfully with people. And we can see here that this raven or magpie or what it can be has the symbol of the stars here. So even if you have to say something that might be a little bit dark, you still need to communicate that, like being able to communicate a boundary or yourself, like separate yourself from others by not always agreeing, but really making like the truth to come out. Like, no, I'm sorry, I don't drink coffee, or I don't like ice cream, or no, I would rather see that movie. So just, you don't need to get your will through all the time, but you can always express that will of yours. And from relationship point of view, it seems like there's a relationship that have had some hiccups, and people might have had problems to talking authentically with each other, and instead you might have turned your back towards each other, and now it seems like here it was time to reconnect or to talk again or try to fix this again. And yes, and here we have the Fool also. So someone in this relationship or this situation is very brave and are not taking in consideration the safety for themselves, and they're risking their own egos to actually follow kind of the will of their soul, or follow the love even. So maybe first they held their horses, almost like spring is waiting. Maybe it will hurt to burst out in spring. Maybe it will be scary for the snow to start dropping from, like the ice starts to melt and drop towards the ground. It's like a moment in time where you don't know if you will be brave enough, and then the spring just comes, or the braveness just comes, and people are expressing themselves from their heart. And here we have the Seven of Cups. So it might be that either this is not very welcomed by the people that you are expressing this to, or someone is expressing their love to you, but you don't trust them. Seven of Cups is like you don't know what to think of this. Maybe before this person wasn't very expressive, and suddenly they express themselves. So what's that all about? So this is what I told you with the Nine of Wands, that if you're approaching a person that has been, maybe you have changed in some way, and you're approaching a person that's used to your old self, and they are very protective because they remember your old self. So they will maybe not take this approach like something you can trust. They will think, oh, it's just another trick. And it might go the other way as well. Like it is Scorpio that suddenly someone is coming and reaching out for you, and you are thinking, what is this? They have never been this truthful before, or they have never approached me in this way before. What do they want? Probably they want healing and truth, but with the Seven of Cups there, it might be that they still express themselves in a way that makes you not trust them. Maybe they have the best intentions, but they are coming out all lurky or shadowy or shady, or so that might be why you feel you can't trust them, because it's maybe they are very clear with what they are feeling and what they want with you, but it's not clear from your end. So this person needs to explain themselves even better to make like the Nine of Wands to go away, like the cage, to protection, the line in the sand, the big boundaries. And here we have this with the Star card in the now. This was the past, so being approached by someone, or you approaching someone, and it didn't went really well. And here you have the Justice, and Justice is 11, sorry, so it's 1 plus 1 is 2, and it comes underneath the Two of Cups, and here you also have the Two of Wands. So it needs to be justice, it needs to be balanced. So it's like this: if a person has been difficult with you for a long time, and suddenly they come back and they want to apologize, and they think everything will be like it was before. It can be anyone, like in a family situation, at work, or in a love relationship. And you feel like, well, I suffered a great deal underneath this. We can't just fix it. It needs to be like real justice, real balance. So I'm thinking that communication is really important here, that you really need to be able to communicate back and forth, even if it's very like dark and twisted and problematic communication, and maybe also very scary communication. It's like sometimes we need to stand up for what we have done and be able to say like, well, I'm sorry. With the Justice card, it's saying I'm sorry. And this other person might need to do the same towards you. They might need to like not just change their ways and say, okay, I want the same thing that you want, and now we can, you know, shoot for the stars here. But maybe you want to have more reassurance. You want to see that they are really meaning business, and this is really like they really mean something. It's like this beautiful connection between you two. We have the stars and Justice here. So I think it's a karmic issue between souls that needs to be resolved here. And it's not going to be like just easy. Like, okay, now I've changed my mind. Okay, welcome. It's like it has gone too much water underneath the bridge for just having like an easy re-emerging or reunion, or what it is that we see here. And here you have the Lovers. It comes at the same place as it did for Capricorn, and you have a lot of twos here. 2 2 2 2. This is not 2, it's 6 actually, the Lovers, but it's 2 people on this. So it's definitely that you're dealing with something on a one-on-one relationship with another person, but it might be different persons that you have kind of the same problem with. How to communicate, how to be together, how to be me and still be with you, or how can I want something from you and maybe that is not what you can give me. So it's like you don't want to taint the other person, you don't want to change them, but in the way that they are now, they might be hurting you. Because with the 2 of Wands, it seems that like something that you're a little bit like afraid of, or putting some like obstacles against, like you're holding out your arm like this, because of something that I can't see here, but that has probably gone on there, like being history, and you remember it, and you want to have like justice for it. And here we have the Hermit, so it's very central in the reading, and so I'm thinking it's if people are not going to love you in the way that you need to be loved, you'd rather be alone. So it's like a little bit of a bitterness, but in the same time, I think that this part of your journey will make you understand yourself even better. Like even better will you understand what you need, and even better you will be able to communicate yourself. And I think that many of you are very careful with showing your vulnerable self, and instead you're kind of shying away and saying, I don't need anyone. And that's of course one way to deal with this, but it's not, it might be like a way where you can restore your energy and become strong again and respect yourself again and love yourself again despite what other people say. But it's not like a situation you can be in forever if you want to continue growing as a person. Because when we are alone, we don't see our shadow, we don't battle up against other people, so we can't teach anything. We're just living like in a like nice single lives, and nothing dramatic really happens, and that is not that's not going to make you grow as a soul. So your soul wants also people in your life, and there's a lot of longing for people here, but it's like you can't deal with them, so you'd rather be alone, or you can't talk things through with them. So instead of talking, you are shying away with the 2 of Wands and the Hermit here. The next card is the High Priest and the High Priestess, sorry, and it's number 2. So it's very connected to the 2s and to justice and also to judgment. It's like the divine is trying to tell you that if you listen to yourself and the inside of you, and align with yourself. So whatever, either you want to shy away from them and never talk with them again, or you want to reach out and you want to talk, or you change your mind and you don't want to reach out to them, it doesn't matter. Like the first thing you seem to need to do is to kind of love and align with yourself and decide that whatever I feel right now it's in that direction I will go, because it seems like you need to restore your own self-value and your own as self-love and your own self-respect. Maybe you feel like you love yourself and respect yourself a great deal, and that is very good. But you have forgotten to show this towards others, and that is the missing part of the puzzle. Okay. So to communicate who you are, even if you're like the strangest creature from outer space, you need to, instead of shying away, you need to communicate this. Like, this is who I am, this is what I like, this is what I don't like. And being more brave. But it seems like you're doing perfectly well on your own. Probably it's very, I feel like a little bit tiredness here to deal with people. And to just like, it's like you're bouncing off this duality game, and always you end up in the feeling that you want to be alone, or you want to withdraw in some way. And here you have the Seven of Pentacles, Seven of Cups, Seven of Pentacles. All the sevens are challenges, and you have emotional challenges and also challenge when it comes to patience. Maybe you want this plant or this relationship to be like perfect at once, and you can't deal with heavy emotions, or maybe that you need to have like a little bit overseeing with how people are, and that they might not be able to, you know, give you exactly what you want exactly now. They can't be perfect, and you can't be perfect either. It seems like it has a beautiful chance to start here, but because of the communication maybe being cut off, because a person feels too misunderstood, and so they rather be alone, and like, no one knows me. I'm I'm an alien here on Earth. So it's like you need to have patience to let other people get to know you, show them who you are, explain yourself. And first and foremost, it might be that you need to get to know yourself, to really find out who you are, and listen to yourself in every moment. Okay, why am I reacting like this? Or why do I want this? Why don't I want it? You need to listen to yourself much more. And this will take a little bit of time. It's like you need to digest something, and also getting up, like getting back the contact with the divine, like plugging yourself in. And plugging yourself in, you do with talking with your emotions and checking out, what do I want? Who am I? And what do I feel in this situation? How do I want to react? How do I think it's appropriate to react? So it's a lot of projections and a lot of like impatientness with people and situations. So you just don't feel loved. You just don't feel supported, and you rather be without people than being with them and trying to make them understand. So it's like you have given up on them with just small attempts of trying, like fetal attempts. Two. It's very short. It's like dung, dung, dung. Instead of really putting in the work and putting in the effort to talk and talk and talk and talk until you understand each other. Okay. First card here for the future, we have this Nine of Wands. I don't know exactly who it is that is this protective, but I guess that it's the one that gets the communication that feels very protective. So if you say you're sorry to someone, or they say they are sorry to you, it's like they need to say it many times to make you believe it, or you need to say it many times to that person to make them believe it. You can't just say, well, I'm sorry, I did say I was sorry, get over it. That won't work. You need to talk with the person, and you need to kind of have a plan how you can't. Sometimes with this I feel like it's a person feeling, I can't change. I just want to be like, we make up, and I can't promise you that I will change because I am what I am. And that is fine, because it's very hard for a person to change. But you can at least tell the other person that this is who I am, and it's very easy for me it will be very easy for me to behave like this again, because I have this freedom longing, or I feel that I need to always have your support, or whatever it is. So I'm going to do this again. I'm sure of it, but it's not because I want to hurt you, but it's because this is who I am, or it's most likely that I will react in this way. And I know that it hurts you, so I want next time I do it, you tell me, like, now you're doing that thing again, and I will tell you how it feels and why I'm doing that thing. So you can't just, you know, turn a coin and just accept, like, okay, I will change, I will not. That person needs to be so over-controlled to never do that mistake again. They need to be like like a Nazi's army to be able to be that controlled and never do that mistake again. And here this person wants to hear that you will never do that mistake again. So you see, it's a problematic situation that can only be solved with the person starting to trust each other and starting to communicate in a way so the other person can trust you. Or so you can trust them. They need to tell you, okay, well, yes, I see I did that stupid thing again. I will try to figure out what it is in my personality, in my deep feelings that make me do the same thing. Maybe a person has promised that they will do a thing. Okay, I will come on Friday. I will help you. I will help you with the plants. Okay, and then Friday comes and they don't come and they don't help you with the plants. And you say, well, I told you so. I told you would never change. I told you would betray me again. And then that person that did this thing needs to figure out, why did I feel like the morning I was going to go and help them with the plants, I felt like I wanted to throw up. And I didn't want to even check on those feelings. I just didn't show up. And I know I betrayed their trust with doing this. So they need to figure out why they didn't want to come to you. What is it underneath the surface that's cooking there? So that made them do this stupid thing again, even though they love you, even though they didn't want to do this mistake again. So sometimes we are so very entangled in our, like, in our karma and in our projections, and it might be like inherited ways of dealing with things that has gone from parent to child in many generations. So the child doesn't even know why they have this feeling. It might be a great grandfather that didn't want to deal with plants because he hated the way his fingers got sticky or dirty. And all the generations to come, they didn't want to dip their feelings into the dirt or kind of do shadow work, is what I'm trying to say. So they didn't want to. They didn't want to feel like any pain at all. And this has been inherited down with the generation. So this person, they have, like, they want to be nice towards you, but they can't because they have problems with their own self. So they need to go very deep inside themselves to find out, why am I feeling like this? And it's very unfair. It's like what it stands in the Bible, like the sins of the fathers will haunt the generations to come, like third or fourth or seventh generations to come. And it's like it's the God's wrath or revenge, but really it isn't. It's just karma. It's just karma. Like when a person isn't able to deal with their own feelings or problems or traumas, it's going to be inherited to the next generation. And the next generation is not going to have an idea, like even what if this is about. Like, why? Why do I instinctively hate this? It might also come from their own soul's previous lifetime, that they have been through something. Maybe they played in the garden and someone was killed in like being lost in a swamp or whatever, and that made them hate gardening work. So shadow work. Okay, so it's like this. It will be a long process. This person can't promise you a rose garden. They can promise you that they will try to find out what it is that makes them do this stupid thing that you are so sick and tired of and never want to see in your life ever again. So it kind of requires like 3 tons more of patience, and you don't really have it, or this person that you're dealing with don't have it anymore. They don't have this patience. Four of Pentacles, they're very protective, and they like, this is mine, I won't let you anywhere near here, and you won't do this ever to me again. I have decided to not be a victim, and I will never let anyone hurt me again like you did. And it's 9 here, so it's the hermit mentality because of someone not wanting to deal with their deep shadow work, like not working in this garden. So if you really mean business, if you really want to have another person's yes, okay, I forgive you, you need to be able to also figure out why you did those things that wasn't too nice, why you betrayed, why this person betrayed you. They need to figure it out, okay? Next card is the Tower. So the power structures is going to fall eventually. So if you're just patient with the person that you want to say you're sorry to, eventually they won't have the same approach. They will have calmed down and probably not be as protective anymore. But if you come then like that, or maybe this is the same person, or maybe all people are in their own little tower and protecting themselves. But in any way, here, if they come out and try to make better, don't try to be so egocentric that you are saying, no, I will not ever forgive you. It's, of course, there's different degrees in hell, okay? So it depends what they did. Okay, if they killed your children, that's fine. You never need to talk with them again, not until next life when you have to deal with this. But in this life, no. Probably you won't have to talk with them again. You can say no if you want to. But in many cases, it's better for both you and the other person if you can solve this karma now, instead of staying in this like chain of events forever and ever and ever. So what is falling here exactly is someone's defenses because of love, I would feel like, and also because of divine interference, because this is divine law and justice, and the flashes is not human made. So I think that the divine is also want to see like a change here. So if you have said you're sorry to someone but in a very stupid way, you need to do it in a better way. And if you have not let a person said that you have not taken their apology, it would be good for yourself and your own healing if you can be a little bit more like forgetful, like with the Fool here, a little bit more naive and a little bit more trusting. If not, if you don't trust the other person, at least trust yourself. So you will be able to, you will feel when they are doing fishy things again, and you can withdraw. Like you will feel that they won't show up that Friday and help you with the garden work, and you will, so you will prepare yourself for that mentally, meditate a little bit and take deep breaths. And when they finally call and say, well, I won't come, and you say, well, I knew you wouldn't come, and you are welcome back when you are able to deal with whatever problem you have here, because this is not my problem, and I'm not going to waste any more Fridays on you. So that is anyway giving a person a fair chance to have a life with you or have a relationship with you, but without hurting yourself too much. Like, this is your problem. I'm glad to help you, but as long as you don't want to deal with this, I don't deal with you. Okay. And here we have the Page of Wands. So it might be that a person will go away, lick their wounds, and come back and try to talk with you again. Because of the love, because of the justice, because of the Tower, they can't, their soul's longing are too strong to keep them away from you, or you feel that the love is too strong to keep yourself away from them. So the work isn't done when we feel like this, and it seems like you're very divinely guided. Also with the Fool, the High Priestess, and this Page of Wands. The Page of Wands is like a person listening very clearly to the messages from the divine. We can also see this here, having this still inner talks with you, like, what am I supposed to do now? Listen very clearly, not not to the divine like an entity separated from you, but a gut feeling. Like, what do you feel? What do you want? Don't look at the divine as a revengeful entity that are, oh, you're doing the wrong thing, now the flash is going to take you. Here, kadunk. No, feel the divine as your gut feeling. Like, this I want, then I do this. This I don't want, then I don't do it. But just try to be, it's just this with the communication between people. It needs to be from an I perspective. I feel, I want, not you are ugly, you do the wrong thing. That's not the way to speak with people and hope to have a relationship with them. You need to be vulnerable and show yourself what you want, and that in that way they can start to also open up to you when you are vulnerable. And that vulnerability, that is what's built trust, when you both being vulnerable and you both also protect each other's vulnerability. And that is a great foundation. But here it's not a great foundation, because people are suspicious and try to hide away the vulnerability and try to be, they love each other, but they try to be cool, or they try to not communicate. The one that doesn't communicate is the one that wins. And but here the one that wins is the one that knows that they need to communicate, and they feel like they might have something. Maybe they have new ideas to how to solve this, or they know that they didn't try everything before, and now they feel, okay, I'm ready, I can try this one more thing. And here we have the Page of Swords. So you are usually water, Scorpio, but you are fire too, because you are a sign that can transform from Scorpio, snake, to eagle, the serpent in the sky. And the eagle is fire. It's like phoenix rising from the ashes. And here you have the sword as well. And the sword is also coming through this, it's like this longing from, this is the soul, and this is your spiritual self, and this is what comes out, those children. So I'm thinking you are dealing with a person that are very much like you. It might be that you are dealing with a twin flame relationship, or with people that are working on the exact same routine as you do. And they are equally guided as you. You might think that they are the most terrible person in the world, but they too have like big traumas and issues and hurts that they are walking through. And yes, you hurt each other with the way you protect yourself from one another, because it's making the other person into an enemy instead of a friend. And sometimes we need to do this. We need to protect ourselves like this. We don't want to be fooled like 3,000 times. After 3,000 times, maybe you say it's enough, and then you don't want to do this again. But it seems like the situation isn't over anyway, because here both are like being called to the well of the divine and trying to figure things out. And here it's talking about messages. And it's very male, those two. It's fire and air, so it's very male energy. So it's like we are using the male energy here. And with the male energy, it can easily be like war. But here it needs to be male energy that instead take responsibility and being very grown up. So it's something else being called here. Like the true divine masculinity. The strong, stable authority that's actually there to not enhance their own power, but actually make a win-win situation for people. It's like a wolf protecting its pack. The pack is more important for the wolf than the wolf itself. They love them to the grave and beyond. So this is the kind of masculinity I'm talking about here. You need to be grown up, you need to take responsibility, you need to be the bigger person. Okay, and this is just children. So it's like you're practicing on being this. You're practicing on being responsible and be the bigger person, and saying that you're sorry, and showing vulnerability like a true strong grown-up person can do. Like if you're really strong, you're also very kind, because you feel so very sure of yourself, because you have this inner strength or outer strength or whatever kind of strength you have. But this is like beginners, so therefore it's a little bit rocky here. So they are beginners with communicating their feelings, or saying that they're sorry, or taking an apology or trying to say like, okay, this is what I want. Maybe one side has been very empathic and tolerant, and the other person has been not like this, and now they need to kind of change sides a little bit. I need to change because of all the balances card that we have here. In other case, they might not be in a relationship at all. So if you have a person that you know has given a great deal to you, and you haven't given them the same credit back, you need to start giving now if you want a relationship, because in other case it won't be a relationship, because that person has had enough, or you have had enough. So the last card here is the actual Emperor, so that's very good. That's very good. So yes, you are growing up into this thing that I just told you, taking responsibility, being the bigger person, having boundaries, but not in a way like, oh, I'm hiding, I'm not going to give anything to you, but rather, well, of course I will give to you, I love you, I will protect you. It's a much more generous masculine energy, because this is number 4 is the Emperor. This is also number 4, the Emperor. But this Emperor is going to some kind of transformation. It might take a little while because he has a lot of challenges above his head, but he's going to, he's very young here. But once he has been able to go through these challenges and look why he's hurting, look why he's running away, or why he doesn't want to do the shadow work, when he just do this, as he just take the responsibility and decide like, well, I won't avoid this anymore, I will go through it. Like, even if it burns doesn't mean I'm going to die. So this is going to evolve like the divine masculine here in your life right before your eyes, and you are going to evolve with it. So it's very beautiful, but it's not an easy task for this Emperor, because the divine masculine has been a lot in just the power junkie kind of energy, and that's not, it's just a small little part of the masculinity. The masculinity is so much more. It's so much more loving and protecting, and like it's like a shield for the rest of us, and it has forgotten to be that shield. It had become very selfish, and now it needs to go and check back. Why am I disconnected? Why can't I commit? Why can't I connect? And a lot is actually the answers to this is in the current culture, where men are not allowed to cry, for example. If you're not allowed to feel your feelings, you can't know which they are. So you will have to have a little patience with any masculine person in your life here, Scorpio, because when Jupiter has come in here in Scorpio, it wants to make big transformations, like birth phoenix coming up here, and it's growing, and it wants to grow into something like a mastery, but it will take some time. So don't count out your the persons in your life that has been unable to show humility before. Don't count out the people in your life that haven't been able to show emotions before. Don't count out the people in your life that has been unable to work together with you in a relationship. Be more patient. You need to give them more time. Jupiter has just gone into Scorpio, just starting to, shake the grounds of our deepest swamp. And it will be there for almost 2 years and do this work. And people will have to deal with their emotions, okay? Also male people. So it's actually good news. It's just that someone has lost their patience here, and it's going to take a little bit more time. Okay, so for my dear Scorpio, some information from, or some, just one card, please. From Oracle of Vision by Ciro Marchetti, to show a little bit more what this reading is about and what will happen for my dear Scorpio. Well, it's talking about kind of the Libra effect here. I think you are waiting for someone to say I'm sorry to you and give you back your dignity that they have stolen from you. And Libra is very empathic and just, and wants to have justice being done. But they are also very empathic and fragile and very like this airy but anyway watery quality. So try to, even if you feel vulnerable, even if you feel exposed, even if you feel like people has been acting stupidly towards you, put yourself in a place of recovery and see what the time will come up with, because it seems like you're waiting for something in time. And here we have the Pisces symbol as well. We have Libra symbol here and Pisces symbol there. So see what the fishing will bring up from the emotional realms. You have a Kingfisher here also that might help you it seems like the birds are very prominent of helping you. So I'm thinking this with the vine is being very prominent in helping you right now. You're being very divinely guided with all these birds. They have wings, so they are close to the sky. And also they are helping you with fishing. So they are helping with your emotional work, or helping the masculine counterpart with their emotional work. It doesn't have to be a male person. It can be a woman that has bought into all this with the masculinity and being in power and not having emotion is so great. So for emotional males, you might encounter women like this that's very cold and detached, and they don't cry and they don't care. And their masculinity inside of them needs to mature into a masculinity that can cry and can show tears and can show that they care. So it's just like patience is all I can. Also patience with yourself. If you are a masculine person feeling like you're unable to commit or connect or whatever. Yes, and this is the thing, like the shadow. It's the kind of the key to it all. If you love yourself, everything about you, even the most ugliest part of you, you just accept them, and you don't have to, express them. If you want to be like a serial killer and you feel like a serial killer, you don't have to act upon being a serial killer. But you can look at that aspect inside of yourself, because it probably holds a memory to something. Like how you have once been exposed to a serial killer, or how you have been a serial killer in an earlier lifetime. And now that is something that wants to come up and be healed and be seen. So if you have really strange sexual fantasies, or you feel really evil sometimes, just look at this. Look at this and stay with it, because it's something, a part of you that wants to be healed and wants to be it just wants to be seen. And this energy can be used for something great. We know that there's a lot of people being very intuitive and being able to profile serial killers. They're probably the ones that were on the brink of becoming one themselves. So they can be a tool against those awful crimes. Because they have used this strength that they have for something that is good instead of something that is bad. So a person that, for example, is a child molester can spot another child molester on miles range, so they can start to be investigators maybe, or they can be like in their own environment more watchful towards people that have those traits, and can help other people to not end up in a victim role because of, or in a being victimized because of this. So you can always use your most awful sides to something good. And it doesn't have to be that you're a serial killer or a child molester. I'm just saying the worst case scenario, so you really understand what I'm talking about. Usually it will be like, well, I have a bad temper when people press me. Okay, so that bad temper might be talking about that, well, maybe you are pressed enough. Maybe you don't want to be pressed anymore. Maybe your soul is telling you to tell those people to buckle off. It might be that. So your strength is not a bad thing. The wild and free wind sprite. The wind sprite is an unrestrained creature who can sometimes be responsible for causing havoc and mayhem. In its true essence, it just wants to be wild and free, just as you do. The core soul vibration of your spirit is lacking the joy and independent freedom which it so rightly possesses, and acknowledge regardless of what others says. So it's like, even if the rules is that you should maybe have sexual encounters in a certain way, and maybe your way of wanting to have sexual encounter is harmful for those people you will expose this to. It doesn't mean that you can't fantasize about this, or fantasize about this while you are like having normal sexual encounters, for example. That wouldn't hurt anyone else. It's just a wild part of you that wants to, like a soul part that wants to be reattached. It wants to come back. It wants to have forgiveness. So this might be another person that you're dealing with as well. Yes, they might be monsters, like devilish, demonic monsters. But they just need to... they are monsters because they have kind of given up on themselves, and they don't feel like up for doing this work. But if they were... like, if you can guide them into doing this work, one example is to shy away from them when they want you. Say the rules for being with you. If you do this work, you will be with me. You can be with me. If you start to check, like, why you have this awful temper, or why you are always like shouting and running away, or why you are always never listens to me or never respects me. When you have done that, when you start to look at that, you can come back. So it's like you're starting to, the person can start to, they need to start to accept those parts of themselves that you don't love and they don't love, but they still need to see them. As long as they're trying to push them down into a dark corner, they're going to be there forever. So it's like someone really needs to do their shadow work. They really need to look at this side and see what they can be grateful for the shadow that they have. Okay, I have this shadow and it's causing this mayhem, but what has it, like, in what situation has it helped me? And start to love also these parts of yourself, because the more a person hates themselves, and they can hear on the news like, well, 6 guys were on these girls again. Okay, then guys like this, the emperor, will of course hate themselves, because they are, even if they are not guilty to anything of this, they will still feel responsible. And they will feel like there's something dark inside of me that can do this kind of thing. But when they start to look at this thing and see when it can be worth of something, when it can have a good worth, and start to accept it without like causing any damage, it's when you start to love yourself. And when you love your whole self, you integrate your shadow, and you don't have to be that shadow anymore. Everything you resist persists. So if you don't resist this side of you anymore, you play with it in a way that is not harmful. Then you will be integrating it, and you can be your light self instead. You can be the person that stops those people from molesting this person, or you can be the person that speaks freely about this, so other people will start to learn. And you can do a lot of things just with this, and it will be the light instead of your shadow. It will be a part of your power instead of a part of a thing with you that you don't like, or a personality trait that you don't like. So this is Aries, and Aries can be very temperamental, and they probably don't like it with themselves that they are this. But if they can love this side of them, and still know that they sometimes are out of line, they can master this and become very strong leaders. But they sometimes need to say that they're sorry because they trampled on someone's toes. So it's like this. If you're strong, you need to be nice. So now I'm talking way too far again, and exhausting myself a little bit, and probably you too. But you are very, very good listeners if you have listened this far, and you have my gratitude. And also I want to welcome you back to my mid-month reading that will come in the beginning of December. Okay, so take really good care. Bye-bye.